Have you ever been completely consumed by thoughts of someone, feeling as if your world revolves around them? You might be experiencing limerence, a term coined by psychologist Dorothy Tenoff in her book, Love and Limerence, The Experience of Being in Love, to describe an intense, involuntary state of infatuation and obsession. Limerence can feel overwhelming, pulling you into a whirlwind of emotions that seem impossible to control. But how does this differ from love, the enduring, stable emotion that forms the foundation of healthy relationships? And how can you navigate through limerence to find peace and clarity? Have you ever felt like someone completely took over your mind, making it hard to focus or even sleep? Limerence often begins with a spark of attraction, but quickly morphs into an emotional whirlwind that can dominate your thoughts and feelings. Unlike the steady warmth of love, limerence is marked by an intense preoccupation with the object of your affection. Intrusive thoughts about them can become so persistent that it feels as if they've taken up permanent residence in your mind. This can lead to difficulty concentrating on daily tasks or even sleeping. Interestingly, the physical symptoms of limerence, such as a racing heart, sweaty palms, or that fluttery feeling in your stomach, are tied to the body's fight-or-flight response. This physiological reaction is triggered by the heightened emotional arousal that comes with anticipating interactions with, or signals from the person. What makes this whirlwind particularly challenging is its subjective nature. Limerence is not just about the person, but about the way they make you feel. It's often based more on projection than reality. This means you might be more in love with the idea of who they are, or what they represent, than with the actual person. This emotional intensity may be exhilarating, but it can also leave you feeling vulnerable, confused, or even out of control. Understanding that limerence is a temporary emotional state rather than a lasting bond can be the first step in grounding yourself and regaining clarity. Why do some relationships feel like an emotional roller coaster, full of exhilarating highs and crushing lows? At its core, limerence thrives on uncertainty and longing. Psychologists suggest that it is often fueled by unmet emotional needs or unresolved issues from the past. For example, individuals with attachment insecurities, such as a fear of abandonment or a longing for validation, may be more prone to experiencing limerence. This is because the intensity of limerence can feel like it's filling a void or answering an emotional question that's been lingering deep inside. One key factor in the development of limerence is intermittent reinforcement, a psychological principle often observed in gambling. Small, sporadic signs of reciprocation, like a smile, a kind word, attention from the person, or even a text message or a like on a social media post, trigger powerful surges of dopamine, creating a cycle of craving and reward. This biochemical roller coaster keeps the person hooked, yearning for the next high of perceived mutual interest. In contrast, love doesn't rely on these unpredictable highs and lows. It is steady and reliable. Another root cause is the human tendency to idealize. During limerence, the person you're fixated on may become a canvas onto which you project your desires, fantasies, or even fears. This idealization can mask red flags or flaws, making it difficult to see the person for who they truly are. Over time, this disconnect between fantasy and reality can lead to disillusionment as limerence fades. Additionally, cultural narratives around romance, like the idea of love at first sight or the one who completes you, can feed into limerence, making it feel like destiny rather than a psychological and emotional state. Recognizing these societal influences can help demystify limerence and empower you to take a step back and reassess your feelings with clarity and self-compassion. Why does infatuation feel like an emotional high, yet often leave you feeling empty, while love builds you up and grounds you in stability? Limerence often stems from deeper emotional or psychological needs, such as a fear of abandonment or a desire for acknowledgement. These needs can drive the intense longing for reciprocation and the idealization of the other person. Recognizing and addressing these underlying dynamics is key to personal growth and emotional healing. By exploring these unmet needs, individuals can begin to focus on themselves and work towards greater emotional maturity. On a biological level, Limerence activates the brain's reward system, triggering a rush of dopamine, the feel-good chemical associated with pleasure and reward. This is why limerence can feel addictive. Every interaction, smile, or perceived signal of interest triggers a dopamine surge, reinforcing the emotional attachment. Understanding this chemical response can help individuals view limerence as a natural, albeit intense, reaction rather than a personal failing. In contrast, love is a more profound and enduring emotion. Where limerence is rooted in idealization, love thrives on acceptance. It involves seeing the other person for who they truly are, their strengths, flaws, and everything in between, and loving them just the same. Love creates a deep emotional bond built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. It doesn't demand perfection, but instead finds beauty in imperfection. Both love and limerence share a desire for emotional connection, but while limerence can feel all-consuming and transient, love is stable and supportive. Love encourages growth, both as individuals and as partners, and cultivates a sense of security. Unlike the volatility of limerence, love provides a stable foundation, a sense of being understood and valued, whether or not the passion of early attraction remains. If you find yourself trapped in the cycle of limerence, know that you are not alone, and there are healthy ways to release yourself from its grip. Start by grounding yourself in reality. Ask yourself, is this person truly as perfect as I imagine, or am I projecting my desires onto them? Reflecting on the real qualities of the person, both positive and negative, can help break the cycle of idealization. Focus on introspection and self-compassion. Recognize that limerence is an emotional response, not a reflection of your worth or ability to connect with others. Shift your focus inward by prioritizing self-care and self-actualization. Pursue hobbies, interests, and goals that bring you joy and fulfillment outside of the object of your limerence. Building a stronger sense of self can help you feel more secure and less reliant on others' acknowledgement for your sense of worth. If the person is someone you see regularly, consider setting healthy boundaries to create emotional distance. Limiting contact or reducing interactions can give you the space needed to regain perspective. Consider how limerence might be reflecting unmet needs or insecurities within yourself. Are you seeking validation, escaping loneliness, or trying to recreate a feeling from the past? By identifying these patterns, you can start to separate the emotion from the person at the center of it. Think about how these needs could be fulfilled in healthier, more sustainable ways. For instance, how can you cultivate self-acceptance instead of relying on external approval? By reframing limerence as a mirror that reveals deeper truths about yourself, you turn it into an opportunity for profound personal growth. What might you discover about your own emotional needs if you looked beyond the surface of your feelings? Finally, remind yourself that limerence is temporary. It is a feeling, and like all feelings, it will eventually pass. By nurturing your well-being and focusing on building meaningful connections based on mutual respect and authenticity, you can move forward with clarity and strength. As you move beyond limerence, reflect on how this experience can shape your approach to love and relationships. How might this chapter of your life teach you to differentiate between infatuation and genuine connection? By seeing the beauty in the lessons limerence offers, such as increased self-awareness and emotional insight, you empower yourself to enter future relationships with clarity and authenticity. Ask yourself, what does a healthy, balanced relationship look like for me? As you answer this question, you might find that your journey through limerence was not a detour, but an essential part of discovering what truly matters in love. Share your thoughts in the comments, follow for more insights, and take the first step today toward creating the love story that begins with you.